but you only get about, as I said, maximum 10 minutes chance to work it. Now, the Doppler effect is obviously got to be considered, and it's not too bad with FM because most FM receivers have a fairly broad band. So if you're actually transmitting, say on ISS, you're actually transmitting on 2 metres, and in fact, the Doppler effect is only about, at 2 metres is only plus or minus 3 kilohertz. But at the downlink it's 10 kilohertz. So technically what you need to do is you need to be able to tune on the downlink, and what a lot of people do with their little handheld rigs is set up 3 channels. One which is set up 5 k's below centre, one on centre and one 5 k's above. As the satellite's coming towards you, you use the higher reception frequency. When it's overhead, switch to the middle one, which is practically no Doppler. As it's gone past, switch to the higher uplink frequency. So they're pretty easy to use. Does that need focusing?
It doesn't.
It doesn't focus.
Just the bottom, because it's out of whack.
Oh, that's a bit better.
How to use them, class. Too much information.
Okay, so basically they're the ones, the ISS is probably the most interesting one to use because there's generally someone there. And it has a footprint which will basically cover most of Australia, provided the ISS is basically over the top of Australia. You'll be able to work north and south, Melbourne, Darwin, Brisbane, whatever. Where's the next one, thanks? What I started with was just using a little dual band handheld device, just with my little USB plugged in here, earphone, microphone, and for tracking it, basically all I had is on my iPhone a little program called SatSat free, and it gives you a calendar, which is this set up here for AO7. You can see its track is going to be there. It will come in at 4:19 p.m. And once you're actually active, you just hit the live button here, so to speak, and it will actually show you the satellite on its track. So it's easy to know where to point the rig, which just got a handle here. And basically, if you just leave the mobile phone on the table next to you, you can just stand there and just follow it. So it seems to work fairly well. Thanks, Liz.
It's full of big words.
The linear satellites are a little bit of a different beast because you haven't got that bandwidth of FM where if you're off frequency you can still get the audio, whereas sideband, of course, if you're just off frequency you've got dot and duck. And basically what happens with the satellites for the SSB, or linear satellites, there is actually a pass band. And most people actually target the dead centre of the pass band. And that's where you'll generally find somebody if you want to look for them. But just to sort of explain what happens, if you're transmitting at the centre of the pass band, and that's 432.150, because of Doppler, with the satellite coming towards you, because of Doppler, you're picking up 10K. So it's actually coming in 432.160, gets inverted, so it drops 10K down on the transmit link, but then picks up 3Ks on the Doppler coming back because it's still coming toward you. So you'll actually, although you're transmitting on the centre of the band, you're actually receiving at 7Ks difference because of the Doppler effect. The opposite happens when you're on the satellite going away from you. You're losing Doppler, it inverts, then you're losing it coming back again, so you're on a different frequency. And there's a split there of about 7. The reason why they use inversions here rather than just a direct inversion is it tends to compensate for the Doppler effect. Otherwise, instead of being 7 out here, it'd be twice that, at least. Anyway, thanks, Liz. So the birds I've been using are, well, AO7, RS44 is probably the one that's been currently used. But just to explain what I do, is when the satellite's coming towards me, in this instance, instead of transmitting at the 432.150, which is the centre there, I'm transmitting it at 140, 10 low. That then puts me onto the centre of the pass band of the actual bird coming towards me. It gets inverted and it transmits on the centre of its outward frequency. Picks up 3 kilohertz coming back, so I start to receive it, as you can see, at 953, which is just a slightly higher frequency than the centre of the band. The opposite again happens when the satellite's going away. I have to actually increase my TX because of the Doppler effect to put me on the centre. So I'm transmitting at 10 k's higher, and then it's coming out linear swap here, and I'm losing 3 k's coming back. So that sort of explains a little bit of the Doppler effect to some extent. Thanks. The program I use is SatPC. It's a free program on, you can pick it up off most of the websites to do with satellites. This is just a sort of pictorial of what you get on the screen. The satellite is just here, and it's actually tracking this way, so it's coming towards me. SatPC kindly tells me what frequency the downlink is and what frequency the uplink is because of Doppler. So you can see there's a correction there of 2.4 on the downlink and -7.1 on the uplink. So I've got to transmit 7 kilohertz lower to put me into the middle of the band, and that's where it'll come out 2 kilohertz higher because it's still coming towards me. Thanks, Liz.
There can be multiple stations operating with
There can be, Eddie, yeah, but
That's the
there's
other
so few people using it.
Okay.
And if you want to find somebody, you aim for the middle of the band. Otherwise you won't find them unless you've got a scope.
Yeah.
Another program you can get on off the internet, it's just called satellite tracking. Exactly the same thing, it just shows, in this case, Oscar 7 again heading north from me, and the frequencies are indicated down here again. A little bit blurry again, sorry. Thanks, Liz. The antenna I use is just a dual band Yagi. It's made by Antennas Amplifier. They're one of the best made antennas I've seen. They're beautiful devices. It's got a 2 metre dipole there for your active element, and it's a passive 70 centimetre. So it's 6 elements on 2 and 11 elements on 70 centimetres. That one there is the one I first built. That's just a dual band, I guess you'd call it horizontal dipole. It's got reflectors, so it's actually got a little bit of gain pointing upwards when the bird's passing over. Thanks, Liz. Just out of interest on that particular antenna,